Hey, this is Perrin. I have Wildfire here with me. This is the second video that we're doing with him, so this is the second training session that we're going to do for positive reinforcement training. We are 24 hours away from the first time that I introduced him to positive reinforcement training. He hasn't had any additional training since then, so we're going to see what he remembers from the previous session. Remember, that was only about 5 minutes of work. So we'll see how much he's retained, and then I'm going to go through a couple other just ground manners sort of things, moving the horse around and talking about that. So obviously he still remembers that I have a treat bag, and but he has forgotten that he needs to be out of my space. We still have this. We're going to be extinguishing this behavior, but it's going to take a while because it's got a long reinforcement history. So at the moment I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm never going to ask for it. Get back. So the first thing is a review of get out of my space. Good. Good. And at this point, I'm going to be doing a lot of reinforcement. We call it a short schedule. So the schedule is the number of times that you give reinforcement in a given time period. So once a minute, twice a minute, whatever it is. And right now, because he's learning, good, and I'm trying to get the concept across to him, I'm going to have him on a high rate of reinforcement. Back. Thank you. Good. 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 Oh, so we're going to ignore that. Good. Now it's important that I do not give him food when he's lifting his foot, because then he'll think that that's associated with the food. It's not a behavior I'm looking for. Good. And right now I'm watching his face. I want him paying attention to me, but I also don't want him stressed or unhappy, and we've got a fly here. Nope. Good. And he's testing out to see how he can earn that food reward. Back. Thank you. Notice that I don't have to do as much to get him to back up. If you remember last night, I might have to pull on the lead rope, or I might have to poke him to get him to back up. But he's doing better now, listening to me. Good. And so this is a nice segue into another behavior that we can do. Since I'm already starting to ask him to back up, I can start putting in that cue. And the cue that I use for back up is this. Now I'll walk into his space, good, the first couple times. But eventually what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to give the cue and get him to back up. Good. Notice that I'm not looking for very much here. If I'm walking up into him, there, see? Good. If he just starts leaning back away from me, then that's where we're going to start for reinforcement. And we have this nice space. If you remember from the previous video, he was up in my space. Now he's back here. Good. And he's getting reinforced for it. He's focusing on me. Good. And as long as I come to him with the food, he's not going to move around too much, and he's not going to come back into my space. Good. He's thinking about it because he wants me to reinforce faster, more often. Good. This is another reason that I want the reinforcement schedule to be frequent right now, kind of like a machine gun, because it's keeping his attention. See, I'm losing his attention there. Good. Good. Okay. So obviously he's remembered what we did last night, and I'm going to wrap it up for this video. We'll do another video tonight and do some movement of the body, but he's making some really good progress considering the minimal amount of time that I put into him, about 5-10 minutes last night and another 5 minutes here, and he's already not in my space. He knows I have the food, he knows I'm giving him the food, but he's happy over here. This is really good progress, and you are making this kind of progress because he is a food motivated horse. So that helps a lot, and I have a food that he really likes. So I'm going to say goodbye for this one, and I'll see you in the next video.